Okay, so I'm back again. It's been about 8 months since I did the fix with the copper wire. Unfortunately, we noticed some ice, and I took the ice out. You can see the water has begun to accumulate down underneath the crisper drawer again. So I got everything taken out, and you can see some ice on the side there. Got everything taken out, and we're going to, once everything defrosts, we're going to find out what exactly is going on back there and see if the copper wire fix needs to be modified. Once again, this is a model RF267 ABRS Samsung refrigerator. Okay, so we've I let the back defrost a little bit so I could take it off without ripping the insulation. As you can see, this whole drip tray down here is fully iced up. The copper wire, there's ice almost to the top of it, which tells me that there's probably an issue going on with the evaporator temperature sensor, which is this yellow wire that runs all the way over to this plug over here. And so I've ordered a replacement part for that just in case that was the issue. And so I'll show you how to take that off. As you can see, it goes in there, and that plug that plug, you can just pull off the cover by squeezing both sides, and it comes right off. And then there's multiple plugs in there, but they're all keyed a certain way, so you can't put them back on incorrectly. And then there's zip ties here and here, and then the actual sensor is inside of a little clip thing there. So to take these wires off, we'll have to press the hooks on the side. As you see, there's 1, 2, and a third hook that all fit into there. And the one, of course, we want is this yellow one. So what I'm going to do is cut that zip tie and this zip tie, being very careful not to cut the wires when you cut the zip tie. And then this thing should just, I think it just pops in there. There's an opening on the back, but we'll take a look at that. Okay, so I've used the turkey baster with hot water to clean off or thaw out all of the ice that was trapped in there, and down in the hole too. There was ice down there, so I had to shoot hot water down there into that hole. The water is draining now, which tells me that the drain line that runs down behind here down to the bottom of the fridge and into the evaporator pan is not clogged, because when the liquid water goes in here, it drains readily once the ice was melted. So I've seen other comments or suggestions saying that you should also check the there's like two little nipples or regulators on the drain lines from here and in the freezer section that run down behind the fridge, and that those can become clogged and back up. But since the water is flowing freely once the ice is gone, I do not think that's the problem, so I'm not going to pull the fridge out and check that. What I am going to do is change out the yellow defrost temperature sensor, because I suspect that that is faulty and it's not allowing the heating coil that runs around to stay heated long enough, and that's what's allowing the ice to start to build up and eventually clog that drain line. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take wire cutters and clip off that tab and this tab, and then I'll show you how to take the actual old sensor out of that holding clamp. So here's the old evaporator temperature sensor. The way it's held on there is this white long part actually goes up into that clamp, and these wires run through this little bottom section, so you can kind of gently pry it from the bottom, and it comes right out of there. And what we will do next is install the new sensor and plug it all back in, and I'll show you what happens when we do that. Oh, and one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this old, the original metal piece that's supposed to keep the ice melted that we added our copper wire to. I'm going to pop off that rivet, gently pop it off with a flathead screwdriver, because I ordered the new Samsung replacement part, which is longer than this one. I'm still going to use my copper wire, but I'm going to attach it to the new part that I purchased, just to see if that additional extra metal will also help with this problem. Pulled off the this metal thing. It's soft aluminum, and I tried to make sure not to damage the heating element, because you definitely don't want to damage that. And of course, kept an eye on my copper wire that we had down in there so that it didn't fall down into the hole or the drain line, because obviously it would be a pain in the butt to get it out of there. Okay, so here are the replacement parts. It's the Samsung clip drain evaporator, part number DA61-0696A, and the defrost sensor, which is part number DA32-00027B. And we're going to, this is what the new defrost deal looks like, and of course the sensor, and we'll install those here. Okay, so we got the new sensor in. It just clipped right into place with no problems. And then of course the plugs, just keep in mind you get the blue, white, and then the black. That's your order up there, and those also just push right back in and clip in. And here's the new clip. As you can see, you just kind of hang it on the wire, and then these two metal tabs, they're very easy to bend. It's just aluminum, so those will wrap around the heater element to hold this into place. And as I said earlier, I'm also going to include the copper wire too, just as extra wire. So this thing will hang about, it will go down into that hole a little bit when it's hanging. So hopefully this is going to do the trick in conjunction with the new defrost temperature sensor. Clip in place. I found it was easier to put the solid part in the behind here, and then I had enough room to lift it up so that this would hang on the heating element. And so now I'm going to bend these two tabs to make sure this thing stays in place and cannot lift up. And then as you can see, I've also added my copper wire. Again, I just looped it in here and ran it down a little even further into the drain than this goes. It's not going to be doubled up like it was last time, but I think we'll be okay, because a lot of this metal is going down in there, and really the copper wire probably don't need it since I have this new piece, but at this point more is probably better than less as far as we have our new metal piece down here. We have our new sensor here. I've zip tied the wires in the same locations they were before. I put that cover back on, and now we are going to, that's what the finished product looks like. Now I'll put the cover back on and turn it back on, and hopefully we don't have any more problems with this fridge.